All right, everybody, in theory, I have just gone live on this Wednesday afternoon. My plan is to try and make Wednesday afternoons right after I get off of work, the time where I go live, take some of your questions for just 30, 40 minutes. So today I can only make it to about the next 35-ish minutes, so hopefully we get some great questions, some nice interactions, and have a fun time. And tonight, I should be seeing Peppermint. It's not a guaranteed, but I'm going to drive across town to try and go see Peppermint. That's actually the reason that I can't talk for too terribly long today, but we will see what happens. Hey, did you have something you just wanted to shoot at them?
It's like when you did the one when you were like...
Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Go for it.
I'm just leaving it.
Fair enough. I don't really know what he was trying to do. So, with that said, I'll look over and see what kind of questions we have over here in the chat board. Yeah, someone said, is the stream offline? No, the stream's not offline. You are just so early. You arrived so early in this process that I clicked the start streaming button, but the buffering takes about 30-40 seconds before you guys start to see all of it. Yeah, that just means you were an early adopter and made it very early on. Let's see our first question of the day. OMG, they killed Kenny. Hello, Sean. Misspelled Sean. What's your favorite of the Nolan Batman trilogy? That's actually a really tough one for me as to which is my favorite of the the Nolan trilogy. It's either Batman Begins or The Dark Knight, but I like very different things about them. I really enjoy origin stories and kind of even the broken narrative of non-linear narrative of Batman Begins. So there's a whole bunch of things about that one that I really like, but it also kind of, in a lot of ways, is the same template that kind of the Marvel origin stories use, which is to say the first 2/3 are an origin story where we put little Easter egg hints of what our third act plot's going to be, and then we just kind of jump into our third act battle. And so on the specific story conflict of the movie, it's not quite as compelling. But I love all of the emotional character development, stories of becoming of Batman Begins. That's my favorite. And then The Dark Knight then has, the Joker and this very complex narrative, moral play tying into the third act, a bunch of really interesting ideas in it. So it makes for a more interesting plot in and of itself. So depending on when I do my rankings of Batman movies or Nolan movies or whatever, I go back and forth. I change it. I don't have a definitive, I always put Dark Knight on top or I always put Batman Begins on top. In fact, whenever I last ranked the Batman movies, I put The Dark Knight on top, I'm pretty sure. And some of my buddies just started giving me a bunch of crap about it because they've heard me talk about, oh yeah, Batman Begins is my favorite. And then I made a video and I put the popular one on top. And so they nonstop trash talk for doing that. But I don't have a definitive one that always wins for me. Sammy64 says, are you getting Spider-Man PS4? Yes. This is the first Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man game that I guess comes out tomorrow, Friday, whenever it comes out, is the first game that I have pre-ordered in 10 years. I think the last game I pre-ordered was StarCraft 2. So StarCraft 2 is the last time that I was like, hey, I should get a game in advance. And so I'm very excited about it. Now, here's the tricky part, and this will tie into an announcement I meant to make at the beginning of this. But my plan was to play it over the weekend and then review it and be like the first big video game review I've ever done on my channel. Problem, my wife is having a baby on either Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, or sooner, and if she just kind of goes into labor. So we got a problem here that I don't know when I'll be able to play it or talk about it, but yes, I am getting the Spider-Man game. I'm very excited about it. One that I can actually kind of play with my son or something like that. So that's pretty exciting stuff. Jake Frustenberg with a super chat. Just a nice, simple statement. Thank you so much for this. I hope you enjoy the movie tonight. What he's talking about is I am seeing Peppermint tonight, which a lot of people are like, oh, it just looks like Soccer Mom Punisher. And I hear Soccer Mom Punisher, and I go, well, that sounds awesome. And then you throw in Jennifer Garner, director of Taken, and this is just stuff that I enjoy watching. This is like an easy home run for me to enjoy something like this movie. So I'm hopefully seeing Peppermint tonight. All right. Jeep Liam Thompson says, "You play video games?" Yeah, I'm under the age of 50, so of course I play video games. I'm not a big gamer. I don't want to overstate that and make it sound like I'm a big gamer. And a lot of that's because I spend so much time doing YouTube right now that I can't play a whole lot. Just as an adult, you get kind of busy and things happen, so you can't do a ton of video games. But I mean, I've got a PlayStation 4. Battlefront 2 is probably the game that I've played by far the most this year, and some of that's because my son's involved with it and can play with me and some stuff like that that kind of makes it fun. We just picked up Minecraft for him, so I'm watching him play that, not really playing it. I don't necessarily get the appeal of it myself, but so yeah, absolutely, I play video games. Cujo F17 says, "Will you rank the Ice Age movies?" Maybe someday. The problem is I've never seen any of the Ice Age movies. A lot of times when people are like, they ask me like, "Hey, can you rank this or you can rank this?" I sometimes haven't seen the movies, especially if it's like animated movies from 2000 to 2010. I mean, I was like right out of high school. I just didn't watch animated movies. So the Ice Age, Shrek, that stuff just came out at a point in time where I just didn't see animated movies. I was watching very violent movies. I was watching indie movies. I wasn't really watching animated. So I haven't seen any of the Ice Age movies, and I've only kind of seen the Shrek movies. BriskCube360 says, "Question, hoping for a boy or a girl?" It's a girl. Her name is Karis, and so that's pretty fun, pretty exciting. That girl number 2. If you're here at the beginning of this, my son was here, so we had got one boy, and then number 2 and 3 girls. So I'm going to be outdone inside, outdone the number of girls in the house. Sorry if I'm get distracted. It's because I'm trying to read questions. I don't have anyone helping me with all this stuff. Avery says, "Will you ever rank Pirates?" I already ranked Pirates. I ranked them May 2017. So I've ranked the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. A Random Gaming Channel says, "How do you feel about Alec Baldwin would have done as Thomas Wayne?" I think Alec Baldwin is a great actor. I see Alec Baldwin when I see Alec Baldwin. I don't see, he doesn't disappear into characters to me, especially now. So it's tough to say if I would have been okay with it. He's just such a big presence that I'd probably prefer someone else that can disappear a little bit more, at least for me, on one like that. It just jumped on me. Tiny101 says, "What's your Roblox account?" Roblox. I don't know what Roblox is, so if you want to tell me what Roblox is, I guess I don't have an account because I don't Roblox. I don't know if I'm just missing something off the top of my head, but I do not know what Roblox is in this particular context. Z Epic Gamer, "Are you more excited for Avengers 4 or Star Wars Episode 9? Avengers 4. I've been pretty... If you've been on my channel any amount of time, you've picked up on the fact I loved Infinity War. I was not crazy about Last Jedi. And so that just kind of creates a scenario where you go, what's the thing that's kind of getting me most excited about what's coming next? And I got to go with the one where I'm like, man, I want to see what happens, how they're going to resolve this. What are they going to do with the original Avengers? Whereas with the follow-up to Last Jedi, I'm like, man, I just don't know. I just kind of feel a little bit like I don't know that I like the direction you're going, and you're not raising questions that I'm looking for answers to, so I don't know. Tyler Simmons says, "Do you have any pets?" Right now I have one dog, which is a little bit of a sad story. We had 2 dogs as a few months ago, but we had to put one of our dogs down. She was about 9 and got cancer. It was very unpleasant. Very great dog, but we had to put her down. So, you know, I'm getting down on that one. So we got Doggy Bo. He's 10 years old, so unfortunately he's probably going to go down in the next couple of years too. So my kids are going to have to put 2 dogs down in a very short period of time. We used to have 3 dogs. We gave one to my mom, and then he went down 2 or 3 years ago. So like my son's going to have to put 3 different dogs down by the time he's 8 or something like that. All right. The Blazing Jedi says, "Roblox is this strange, controversial kid game. Well, I definitely have not done anything with it. Gamer Girl says, why don't you use Letterbox that often? So Letterbox, it's an app out there. I have an account for it. I think my name's Sean Chandler Talks About, or it's Sean Chandler, or it's Kirk Never Died. It's one of those three. The reason I don't use it very often is because I do this. And so some of I just put a ton of time into trying to do my YouTube channel. So like right now, I could be on Letterbox making playlists or ranking things or putting reviews in there right now. Or I can be chatting with you guys. And those are kind of I'm a person, I accidentally spread myself thin a little bit too often. And so, like, I'm on the Amino app, I'm on Twitter, I got a Facebook page. Even some of you guys in the chat board are talking about messages that we interacted with earlier today on Facebook. And then, I signed up for Letterbox when I was on a car trip. And so I was just on a car for a very long period of time. So I just spent, a couple hours kind of filling some stuff out. But, it's just that it's just a time issue, and so it's just not on my mind. I don't get anything out of Letterbox. People ask me to spend time on there, so I put a little stuff on there. I don't even know how to use it right. I don't know how to do anything interesting with it. It's just kind of one more thing out there. That's sort of the reason. Someone asked me, have I played the Batman Arkham games? Yes, I own all of them now, and in theory, I'm going to rank them one of these days. I just need time to play them enough to be able to do so. I almost saw it, and then I lost it. Moving Picture says, what made you choose the channel name that you chose? Which is an interesting question, because I don't really know. I don't really remember why I went with the name Sean Chandler Talks About as opposed to just Sean Chandler or something else. When I was starting the channel, what I didn't want to do is try and be too clever and be like Cinemaniacs or, something like. I didn't want to try and come up with some brand that wasn't my name. I just kind of wanted my name. Now, why I didn't just use my name, I'm not really sure. I like the idea of the simplicity of it's me talking about stuff, Sean Chandler Talks About, boom, there it is. If I were to start my channel over again, would I use Sean Chandler Talks About again? Probably not. I'd probably just go with my name, I think. And I'm starting to kind of focus in my channel a little bit more, getting more distinctly just movies, a little bit less television and some of the other stuff. Like, I'll sprinkle in a little bit because it's a nice change of pace. But so even in my logo at the beginning, now it says Sean Chandler Talks About Movies. If you go to my channel page, it says Sean Chandler Talks About Movies. So there's, in that context of being a movie channel, it makes a little bit more sense than the generic Sean Chandler Talks About, where, it's just an interesting, I really don't know why I went with him. Ante Kovac says, please answer some comments. I'm literally responding to things that people are saying, and I can't write comments because I'm talking right now, so that is very difficult for me to do. All right. Zachary Suro says, thoughts on Captain Marvel. All right, we got some pictures of Captain Marvel. They look like people in superhero costumes. I have no thoughts on it. It's like, oh, look. It looks what stuff like this looks like. So I just really don't have any strong thoughts on these sorts of kind of initial pictures where they do the Entertainment Weekly shoot and then they kind of, throw out a couple set photos. Like, it's interesting that we have a picture of Nick Fury with 2 eyes. That's pretty cool. But beyond that, most of it, I just don't have a thought on, look, set photos. Cool. Jack Long says, Sean Chandler, what is your middle name? Michael. My middle name is Michael. Sean Michael Chandler. Yeah. And then my son's middle name is Michael, and my brother's middle name is Michael. It's like a big family thing that we just throw Michael into the middle of all of our names. So there you go. Jason says, rank the Rush Goers. Whoa, Rush Goers. What on earth does that mean? Rush Hour movies. I actually haven't seen the third one. I was huge into Jackie Chan back in the 90s. Like, huge. I had a Jackie Chan webpage and would order, this is before internet and streaming and stuff. And so to get Hong Kong movies actually took a little bit of work. And so, like, I would trade VHS tapes with people and stuff to get these imports of Jackie Chan movies. So whenever Rush Hour came out, I mean, a huge deal for me and kind of the circles I was in. Loved the second one. And then there's like this gap of 5-6 years till the next one came out. And I just never ended up seeing it. And I hadn't heard great things about it, so I just never really even got around But so, yeah, it's kind of a weird one. I haven't seen it, so maybe someday I will. There's all those kind of franchises that are just kind of random ones that people like. At some point in time, I'll probably do something with them, but... Awesome Cool Guy says, why do you have a Jaws poster but didn't put it in your favorite movie list? I have a Spider-Man poster, and Spider-Man's not in my favorite movie list. Got a Finding Nemo poster, and I don't have a Finding Nemo's not in my favorite movie list. Got a Wonder Woman poster. Wonder Woman's not in my favorite movies list. I've got this Force Awakens. It's not in my favorites. I mean, I've got a ton of posters. They're not indicative of my favorite movies are. So I don't really understand the question. I've got a whole bunch of these different posters. ZL13 Goat says, why did you start your YouTube channel? It's what I say at the beginning of all my videos. It's literally exactly what I say at the beginning, where I say, hi, my name is Sean Chandler, and I started this channel because I was talking about movies way too much and driving people crazy, and so I started a channel. That's kind of the origin of it, really. I was the guy commenting on Collider.com articles. I was the person, like the account that I'm using, I started this account like 6-7 years ago. Kirk never died, because I was commenting on other people's videos. That's why I started the channel, is that I was commenting, this is literally the channel started for that reason. I should always like to talk about movies. I was a youth pastor for 8 years and public youth speaking stuff for over 10 years. So I know I can say stuff. I had video editing skills, and I just wanted to drive the conversation. I wanted to be the person kind of steering where things went, what was being talked about. And so that's why I started the channel. And I had, like, if you look at just sort through my videos, go to the oldest, you'll find videos from 3 years before I actually started the channel, because I had all these false starts where I tried to start it, life got too busy, tried to start, life got too busy, it didn't happen. So, yeah, that's kind of what happened. And then I didn't have a job, summer 2016, so I had plenty of time to get the channel rolling, and I stuck with it, and it's been amazing. It's literally changed my life. It's been a thing that has transformed what my life looks like. Jake Nuttall says, why do you like talking about movies so much? I mean, I've always been fascinated by stories, coming up with stories, and they became kind of a shared experience for us. Certain types of movies are modern mythology. Other types of movies are historic, reveal things about things. Other movies just kind of reveal things about the human experience. And so they're just something we can all relate to in different ways and talk about it. So it's just kind of interesting. Golden Light Pictures youth pastor, are you a believer? Yes, simple question. I'm actually still go to the church that I was on staff at, so it's worked out nicely. Jammy Boy, what is a movie you regret watching? I don't really regret watching movies, because in any sort of regard, even if it's a bad movie, you know, it's an experience of watching it, and you learn. Seeing bad things makes you recognize things like that. But so movie I regret, one that stuck with me in a bad way, Meet the Feebles. Meet the Feebles from Peter Jackson. It's basically Happy Time Murders, except from 30 years ago. Same sort of idea of Muppets behaving badly, except it's very much like if the Muppets were evil and they're having sex with each other. Just gross, disturbing stuff. Scarred me for life. So Meet the Feebles is the one that I will go there. I was like, ugh, that I could have done without seeing that. I actually never finished watching it. I had a VHS of it, and like about an hour into it, the tape got eaten, and so I couldn't finish the movie. I was like, I'm okay, never finished watching this one. And it's also why I was kind of like, I don't need to see Happy Time Murders. This is not so much. Awesome Cool Guy, do you agree with the rating Infinity War got on Rotten Tomatoes? See, Rotten Tomatoes isn't a group of people sitting in a room saying, let's give it a score, one person giving a movie a score. Rotten Tomatoes is an answer to a question. What percentage of critics recommend a movie? Because it's binary. Basically, the critics submit their review, their score, their little blurb, their link, and they say, I recommend it or I don't recommend it. And then the Rotten Tomatoes scores which percent recommend it. So the question, do I agree with the Rotten Tomatoes score? Well, yeah, because it adequately answers the question, what percentage of critics recommend Infinity War? And so, like, someone asked me just a couple of days ago, what Rotten Tomatoes score would you give X movie? And I go, I wouldn't give a Rotten Tomatoes score to a movie, except to say, I guess I would give it a thumbs up, so I'd give it 100%, but that's only the two options in this scenario, if it's just me. And so, yeah. Do I agree? Do I think that in the 80s sounds about right? In the 80s sounds about right for Infinity War because it's a story where they made a big, bold decision, which is to say that it is kind of half of a story for a lot of people. They don't think it's a concluded story. Therefore, they feel cheated by it and they're frustrated by it, or they think it's over-bloated. Any number of reasons why a critic that's not a Marvel fanboy like me and most of you would be like, this isn't a good movie. It's an incomplete story. It's over-bloated. They're trying to do Empire Strikes Back and they failed at it. Fair enough. So I understand why it's in the 80s. That makes sense to me. So in that sense, I agree with it. I'll run through a few things that some of you guys have asked. Have I watched Arrested Development? I haven't watched the new season, but I've watched all the other stuff. I've watched all of Parks and Rec. I am in the process of rewatching Parks and Rec so I can do a ranking of it. I've watched all of Friends because I'm of the age when Friends came out. I've seen all of it. I haven't rewatched all of it in a very long time. I doubt I'll ever rank it. I think those are the ones you guys are asking about a bunch of times in the comment section. People always ask me to rank all of the Arrowverse. I'm not caught up on Supergirl or Legends, so it's probably not going to happen anytime soon. Alrighty. Wavan Ludiak. Sorry if I'm sure I botched that. What are your thoughts on Fight Club and Shutter Island? I've never seen Shutter Island. No reason. I know I should have. It sounds like something I'd be really interested in. I just haven't seen it. Fight Club, I haven't watched it in quite a while. It came out, when I was in high school, and so that was one of those movies I watched when I was a young, angry, late teenager, early 20-something, enjoyed the nihilism and all that fun stuff. But, I mean, very cool movie. But I haven't watched it really since I've become a critic person to be able to talk about it on a deeper level. I bought it. It's somewhere on my shelf not too long ago, in theory, to do a David Fincher ranking sometime in the near future. But, yeah, it just hasn't happened quite yet. So many questions. They're kind of flying in now. Carmen here, what's your Amino account? I have no idea. Look up Sean Chandler. Just search for Sean Chandler and you should be able to find me, but I have no idea what my account is. Someone said, did you see the Halloween trailer? I haven't watched it yet. I almost did. I was good, almost did a reaction, and I just didn't feel like there's enough buzz for it, and so I'd prefer to just wait to see it in the theater. If I'm not going to do a reaction to a trailer, I normally don't watch it. I'd rather just see it at some point in time in front of a movie or something like that. All right. Someone says, have I watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine? I have seen 0 episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Darth Vader asking a very long question that I can't read. Sufjift Abdul Wahid, very sorry for botching your name. Friends or Seinfeld? Seinfeld. I'm very much a Seinfeld fan. Friends seems like a type of story that kind of gets repeated every generation, which is a group of friends dating each other, and who are they? Are they aren't going to get together? Then 10 years later was How I Met Your Mother. There's always kind of a show like that. The New Girl was kind of that. Seinfeld was this own other thing, a show about nothing, this unique take on it, just a unique show that got better as it went along and just broke. I think it's an incredible story, show, not story, because there is no story. It's a show about nothing. Incredible way to do a show that just absolutely worked for me. But I mean, they're both amazing shows, and I was like the prime age range for both of those. Those are ones that I was watching in middle and high school that made me fall in love with, TV, television, things like that. Lots of Logan 49. What did I think about The Hitman's Bodyguard? I have a review up on my channel. It's good. That's all I can really say in here. But I have my review up, and that's essentially my thoughts. It's a fun action comedy. So many questions. Do you play Fortnite? A little bit. I've played a little bit of Fortnite. I jump on from time to time. I'm not like a big player because I do this. This takes a lot of time. I have a full-time job, so doing that for 40 hours and then trying to keep my channel up takes a lot of time. Joe Julian, are there any TV or movies you'll never rank? Well, there's probably about a million of them I'll never rank because I don't have time to. I don't really have a quick answer for that because it's like, I mean, I'll never rank the 50 Shades movies because I think they're morally abhorrent in taking a story that's very clearly abusive and then turning it into some romance. Like, I just think that's a morally gross thing to do that's going to endanger people's lives. And I don't mean to exaggerate that, but there's things in 50 Shades that are very not in the haha, that's so silly. I just think that it's very dangerous to treat such a emotionally abusive relationship, potentially a physically abusive relationship, and romanticize it like, oh, if you're just patient enough, you'll fix him. So I'd never rank those. So that's probably the one that comes to mind. Oh, questions. Oh. Obi-Wan the Kenobi, what was your all-time favorite movie besides all the movies you saw? I don't know what that means. Drew Bench, do you like the Disney remakes they've been making? No. Just conceptually, I don't get it. So what they've been doing, taking these animated movies and then doing kind of like a shot-for-shot remake, or it's like Beauty and the Beast plus 40 extra minutes live action. And I don't, it just seems like a cheap, easy way to make some money. So Beauty and the Beast made a ton of money when it came out. I mean, when that movie came out, I mean, just exploded at the box office. It's one of the biggest opening weekends of all time. Went on to become one of the highest grossing movies in the US of all time. And no one talks about it. Because it was just kind of a little nostalgia event. It's a cheap, easy way to make money, but it's not really art. It's not really making a dent. It's not doing anything new. It's just translating an animated thing to the screen and throwing some extra stuff into it. And I don't like that. So like the Jungle Book, they did a different story. They made some changes to it, so I can appreciate that. But just what they, like the Beauty and the Beast one, and it's not that it's a bad movie. It's just something that I don't get what they're doing. Or like, we're going to do live action Lion King. I mean, it's all CGI, but it's live action. What? It is very odd to me. I do not understand the concept behind all of it. People keep asking me if I'm going to do rank Breaking Bad. Not anytime soon because I need to rewatch all of it. A bunch of people keep asking me if I'm going to do a gaming channel or start streaming gaming. As I keep repeating in here, I don't have time to play video games. I do not have the time to do it. And so, will it ever happen? I don't know, maybe. If I go full-time on YouTube, maybe I'll have the extra bandwidth to grow a second channel. But it seems very unlikely that it would happen anytime soon because I'm not by default a gamer that plays a lot. I play for recreation, and I don't want my recreation of gaming to turn into one more thing, which is like with movies where movies is work for me now. It's work I enjoy, but like even the movies I kind of watch in my free time, most of the time it's all determined by what movies are coming out soon. So I kind of line it up, sync it up. So right now I'm watching Predator movies. Before that I was watching Jack Ryan movies. Like I'm leading up to October. I'm watching Friday the 13th movies. I'm watching Conjuring movies. All of it's for ranking videos that I'm coming up with. And so I don't want to turn gaming into that as well. I want it to be, all right, I'm just going to sit down and play something stupid real quick. For the most part, that's kind of the way I want it to be. I want to be able to just have fun with it, not for it to be this serious thing. Robert Benthu, how big are you? This big, you can see me right here. I'm 6'1". Right now I'm 220 pounds. It's the heaviest I've ever been. Which is intentional. I'm going to the gym a lot right now and very intentionally trying to gain weight. All right, trying to find questions. There's a lot of people kind of asking questions I've already answered about Parks and Rec and video game stuff, so I'm just not going to dive into it again. Or asking me to rank things that I just can't do off the top of my head. Ranking all the Super Bowls, that would require me to watch 150 hours of Super Bowl, so chance of that happening are 0%. Or asking, I already talked about Captain Marvel. I have no thoughts on it. Tons of people asking questions I've already answered, so it's making it difficult for me to find ones that I haven't talked about. Very sorry I'm doing it. I'm literally just trying to find a question that I haven't already talked about. DK Drummer 3R, what do you think about the upcoming Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie? I'm baffled by this Joaquin Phoenix thing. In particular, the context under which it's just like I do not understand what they're doing. Is that the DCEU is struggling to do a Superman movie that just people enjoy. They can't do a Justice League right. And even if you like Man of Steel, which I love Man of Steel, or if you like Justice League, which I don't, the audience is so split on them. It's definitely not universal praise or anything like that. Suicide Squad, very negative reaction. Wonder Woman, very good reaction. All over the place with kind of their main stuff. And like, so the idea that we can't get the main stuff, our bread and butter, what should be the easy stuff, right? So let's do a standalone Joker movie. What? Like, it's just baffling to me. It's kind of like if the MCU was struggling and all over the place and everything was bombing, and then they're like, now let's do Guardians of the Galaxy. That would be weird. No, that's not what they did. They had this nice streak of movies that got good reviews. Avengers comes out, knocks it out of the park, and then they're like, and then 2 years from now, we're going to do this crazy thing called Guardians of the Galaxy. But they had a nice hot streak of well-reviewed movies leading up to it. So I am baffled by this Joker thing. I don't like, it's like the guy that directed The Hangover and Martin Scorsese producing and Joaquin Phoenix. And so I have no idea what to make of it. I don't understand why they're doing it. So I have no thoughts until I see a trailer. Benny Athers, when will you spend more time on Amino? When there's more hours in the day. I mean, I do the best that I can, but to make videos, I've got a very pregnant wife. I've got a full-time job. I've got 2 kids. If you want me to keep making videos, that means I'm not on Letterboxd. It means I'm not on Twitter. It means I'm not on Amino. I'm trying to do lots of different things. Totes Productions, do you think Man of Steel 2 is going to happen? I have no idea. I don't know why you wouldn't have that one announced years ago. I don't like, or Justice League comes out and they go, all right, Man of Steel 2 is coming. I have no clue. Like, that seems like these are the franchises that need to be in the front and center. They're A-list marquee heroes. Let's get these right. Let's make sure that we've... instead we're doing a Joker movie. We're talking about Gotham Sirens, Suicide Squad 2, and just all these other random things, as opposed to like, just get your house in order. Get the normal things in place. So I don't know what they're doing. Golden Light Pictures, tips for making movie videos. I guess you're talking about having a movie channel. Just start doing it. If you want to start a movie channel, just start doing it. At first, especially if you're real young, I wouldn't even worry about growing an audience. You have to get the crap out. You just have to do a bunch of stuff and figure out what you're bad at, what you're good at, and figure out the process of doing out of it. And you do that long enough, and you start to get good at it. So just start, evaluate constantly, try lots of different things, and then eventually you need to find your unique thing. If all you do is copy me, anyone that finds your channel will figure out very quickly you're just trying to be me. It's like the internet figures out when you're copying people. So you got to find your own unique voice, your own unique thing, but you can try lots of things. And like, I mean, I've tried so many things. I've copied people. I've done wacky things no one's ever done before that were horrible ideas. So yeah, that's my quick advice. Padragay, I don't know how to pronounce that. Official. Have you seen Human Centipede? No, that's on my list that I have no plans on ever watching Human Centipede ever. Hard pass on that one. Aaron Fraser, do you like Lost? I think seasons 1 and 2 of Lost are fantastic, and then it got so weird it kind of lost me. So started out great. Gamer Girl, favorite pizza restaurant? I don't know. I don't know. Of the fast food, I like the diversity. I really don't have one that I lock in on. The kind of the places that are more kind of non-national, I think, tend to be a little bit better where they have the gigantic slices and things like that. But I don't have one that comes to mind immediately. Christian Jacobson, are you excited for The Nun? Not really. Not feeling it. And I kind of dig the Conjuring verse, but I am not feeling The Nun. All right, I missed it, but someone said I remind them of the YouTuber Clash with Ash. I have no idea who that is, so I've never seen them, so maybe I need to look them up. Jessica Marie says, how long until your baby is due? Very excited for you guys. I mentioned this at the beginning of this, but Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. There's some discussion with our doctor of an induction date, but we're supposed to currently scheduled to induce Tuesday night for a Wednesday birth. She's trying to call it in to have that a Sunday night induction for a Monday birth, and then my wife could just go into labor at any time. So next week, I don't know what next week will look like because there's Predator stuff that I really want to talk. I need to talk about a new Predator movie, so we'll see what happens. Ninjas Puske, what do you think of Grant Gustin's performance in The Flash? It was all caps, so I had to read it properly. It's good. I mean, I enjoy the show a good bit, so he's fun, he's charming, he's quirky, he's not overly serious. Quirky fun Barry is a lot better than brooding Barry. I don't think brooding Barry in general works as a character, but he's also works as like the smiling, kind of fun, clumsy guy much better than brooding guy from season 3. Someone asked, can I rank the Tarantino movies? I'm working on it. I have said this in many of my videos. I've been trying to watch the movies. I've got wife and kids that don't want to watch, Brad Pitt scalping people and things like that. And, sitting down with the kids watching Django Unchained might lead to them repeating some words that would get me in a lot of trouble. So it just takes a while, but I'm working on it. Someone asked, why am I not digging The Nun? I don't have a reason for it. And it's not like the trailer they put out is compelling. It's not a good trailer. It's like, hey, look, it's a period piece. That's not, why would that make me interested in a movie? That's like a scare tactic. It's not a trailer to make me enticed about a story. Once again, trying to find questions that I haven't answered before. And if you're just like, rank this, I'm not going to do that here. I can't off the top of my head come up with a ranking for something. Or if you're trying to tell me to pick favorites, it's not something that's easy to do. Extra Taco says, Rocky or Rambo? Rocky. Rambo is it's like one great movie, two movies that are product of the 80s, one good movie, and tonally all over the place, whereas certainly Rocky has the product of the 80s stuff when you got Rocky 3 and Rocky 4, but there's actual character arc in there along with it that's consistent and makes sense and ties back into things, so easily Rocky. Golden Light Pictures, should Brad Bird direct Fantastic Four movie? Should he? I don't know. Could he? I don't know. Do I think he'd do a great job? Yeah, Brad Bird would do a great job, obviously, because he did The Incredibles, and that's probably why you're asking the question. That's also why he probably almost certainly will not direct the Fantastic Four movie, but if he did, that would be exciting. That would be cool. Someone asked my thoughts on The Room. I have a review up for The Room. You can look at my thoughts on it there. Brett LaFerge, did you cry during Infinity War? Nope. Nope, did not cry. Don't normally cry for characters that I know are going to come back. It's emotional, it's pretty cool, but yeah. Lifted Clash, best video game. The one that I probably played the most is Warcraft 2. I played an enormous amount of Warcraft 2 back in the 90s and was actually good at it. So, yeah, I'd have to go with Warcraft 2 as my answer on that one. All right, we got a super chat from John Sturcio. Opinion on Shawshank or Forrest Gump? You have to throw into the mix also Pulp Fiction for 1994. Between Forrest Gump Shawshank and Forrest Gump and Pulp Fiction. I'm adding to your question. So I haven't watched Forrest Gump in a number of years, and that's so back in the 90s I watched Forrest Gump 1,000 times or whatever, like everyone else that was my age when that movie came out. And didn't watch Pulp Fiction a few years later and loved Pulp Fiction. Discovered Shawshank Redemption later down the line. If I were to kind of rank those ones based purely off the top of my head, I probably have Forrest Gump at the bottom. Need to rewatch it, but there's a schmaltziness to it that I don't think holds up, I think. Then Shawshank, incredible moving story. Pulp Fiction on top of those ones is what I would say. Thank you for the super chat. Jack Walsh, where do you see your channel in a year? I don't know. It's tough to say where I see my channel in a year because I don't know where I see my channel in 3 months. For the simple reason that I'm hoping to go full-time, but there's a lot of complications going into full-time because YouTube does not give benefits. And so I got a family, so I got to figure out how to have insurance for my family. Pretty sure I can figure out the financial side to it to make all that work pretty easily to replace my current income at my job and increase what's on YouTube. But its insurance is kind of the big question of like, I don't know how to solve that question. And so when I don't know where my channel is going to be in a few months, it's difficult to jump ahead for a year from now. Hopefully, certainly hopefully, if right now I'm thinking I'm really close to figuring out this full-time thing, hopefully by a year from now I'm full-time. But, even once I go full-time, I don't really know what that means I have ideas to do like a daily movie news show, but I don't know if that's the right direction to go. I have to like test that for like a week, for a month, when I have the time, when I'm full time. And so I really don't know. I always have a ton of ideas of what I would do if I had more time. How would I experiment with things? How would I increase the quality? But it's all a matter of I don't have the time to do it. So I can't test it to see what the response is. And so I don't really know. Okay, we are over my time, so I'm going to go for just 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. So if you definitely want me to answer your question, you can try a super chat. Otherwise, I'll try and grab some of these. And a lot of the questions you're asking, I've already answered. If you're trying to get me to pick favorites or rank things, I just can't do that on the fly. Kelly O'Rourke. Sean, what's one question you wish everyone would stop asking? It's not necessarily any one question I wish people would stop asking. It's there's an inherent nature to these live streams that people come in at different points in time, and so then it's my inherent nature is I want to please everyone, and there's people that keep asking questions, and they're asking a question that I answered in the first 5 minutes, and so they've asked it 30 times when all I have to do is go back to the beginning to figure that one out. Which I understand why they're not doing it. I get it, but for me as the person that's trying to like be a people pleaser and answer all the questions, some of that stuff drives me crazy. There's certain ones that I just kind of I feel like I answer every time I do a live stream on Game of Thrones, ranking Game of Thrones, watching Game of Thrones. I answer that almost every single time. People I feel like I say all the time, I'm working on ranking the Tarantino movies. I feel like I say all the time, I've never watched, like the Ice Age movies. So there's certain things like that I feel like I say all of the time. And then likewise, when there's questions where, they're asking me, hey, can you rank this or can you do this? And I've already done it. There's a side to it where I go, well, did you just not search for it? Because for me, I spent a bunch of time on it and then commenting on it. So people still be watching some of these videos from a year ago that I did. And so for me, these videos that are like, they're still present to me, even though they're a year ago, and people are asking me about this. So it's a very weird experience for me to not want to be short with people and frustrated, because I understand they're interested in my opinion on something and they're asking me for it, but I've already put it out there. And so I just wish people would sometimes Google them a little bit. But there's no one question, maybe the Game of Thrones one, because I feel like I've literally been answering the Game of Thrones question probably for about a year and a half. Which is to say, I've watched the first 2 seasons. It's not a show I can watch with my wife. It's not a show I can watch in bulk. Some of that's for sort of religious reasons. It's the edge of the harshness of what I'm interested in watching. And so I don't watch it in bulk. I don't know if I'd even want to talk about it on my channel because the nature of it's not like my channel family friendly or anything like that, or that's not my goal, but it's also not, there's language I don't use, there's things that I don't do, and so certain things don't come out. Anyway, that was a long answer to a question. Trying to find a good question. LRC Gaming, do you watch Doctor Who? I've seen series 1 of the current iteration of Doctor Who, and I've seen season, I think, 3 of Torchwood. It just hasn't worked for me. I've tried really hard to like Doctor Who. People think I'm going to love it, and it doesn't work for me. James Cummings, Friday the 13th or Halloween? As a movie, the best movie out of all the franchises is the original Halloween. Which series do I just kind of resonate a little bit more, have a little bit more history with? Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th was my kind of slasher thing that I watched back when I was in grade school and things like that. I didn't watch all the Halloween movies back in the day. I watched the original one because I liked John Carpenter. I hadn't really watched any of the sequels until I did my ranking a year ago, and I watched them for that. But Friday the 13th is kind of my go-to series. Halloween's the best movie out of the batch. Pikachu Cat, question from fellow Texan. Are you getting a lot of rain right now, or is it just me? Sort of. We're getting rain right now, and it's coming like big batches of pouring rain, and then it's gone. So it's gross outside because it's like 98 degrees, and it's been raining a little bit for the last couple days. There's like thick cloud coverage, so it is gross. Even like in this video where I think I was sweating and kind of gross looking at the beginning. Yeah, it's because of all that and just icky. Leon Ormstrand, do you support James Gunn? Do I support him? I don't know what that means. I don't really know, because I'm not friends with him, obviously. I don't know him personally, so I'm not like support him. Do I think he should direct the movie? I don't know. I think that Disney made a reactionary decision where they shot themselves in the foot and really botched the whole process. I think that they should have paused and said, we're taking this seriously. All plans are kind of on hold while we reconsider what we're doing, and we need to have a lot of conversations. And then they go talk to Dave Bautista, and they say, hey, man, let me hear you out. What's your take on this? And they talk with Dave, and Dave says, this is ridiculous. It was 10 years ago. It's a political hit job. And they hear him. They process it, and we need to make the best decision for us. You don't know all the information, Dave. And like, have conversations. This is basic leadership. This is basic stuff that at any office, if you've worked with volunteers, that you have to listen to people, or else they feel like you're trampling over them and you don't care about them. And when you do that, you just you screw yourself over. In Hollywood, Disney, these companies, they think they can do whatever they want, and then occasionally you got people like Dave Bautista that doesn't play the game. That he's like, oh, screw you. You like, those tweets were 10 years old. What are you doing? This is a political hit job. Blah. And so he's not playing the game. And I think that's a good thing. I'll say that. I support Dave Bautista in standing up for his friend. I don't support James Gunn in the sense that he said some reprehensible stuff. I don't know what conversations he had besides the scenes with Disney, so I don't necessarily support him because I don't want to support what he said and what he did and all that fun stuff. But I don't support really almost anyone in Hollywood because I disagree with them on all kinds of stuff. So I don't really know what the question means in that sense, because it's a weird sentiment if you're not in the actual decision-making process. So I think Disney botched the way it was done. I don't have enough information about what conversations Disney and him had before all of this. I suspect Disney knew about it and they said, hey, if this comes to light, you're gone. Like, we'll let you play ball until this comes to controversy. If your history comes up to get you, we're not getting wrapped up in that. And then they got wrapped up in it anyway. Killian Vantilium, thoughts on Goosebumps 2? I don't have any particularly strong thoughts on it. Like, I haven't seen the first one, so I haven't even really thought about number 2. Like, maybe I'll go see it. Like, I don't know anything about it. Bobby Rashford, please answer Spider-Man PS4 or Batman Arkham? What? Spider-Man hasn't come out yet. How can I answer that? So I don't mean to be short with you. I don't know how to answer the question. Willie Todd with a super chat. Thank you so much. How do you change your posters all the time? Man, how many do you have? All right, so Willie Todd, you're in luck. I've got a second channel. It's Sean Chandler Vlogs, or it's just Sean Chandler. A bunch of my videos, I link to it. Head on over there. There's a video. I walk through all my different posters that I have. I got them from Hobby Lobby and from Amazon. I mean, they're just, you know, well, I can't put that back up now, but there's just a screw in the wall, so I just put another one up. There's just, I mean, or it's a nail, so I can just swap them out real quick. I think I have like 17, but you can go over to my second channel. There's a video where I walk you through all 17 of them. I show you what I have thus far. I plan on getting more. I've actually got some frames, so I can put some just straight posters in there. But yeah, I want, like, right now I have like Star Wars, Marvel, and DC. What I really want to get is like some action ones, some drama, the full set. But it's a specific, these hard wooden backed ones, and they're not all cheap. And they don't have a ton of them available. So I haven't been able to get a whole bunch of them, as many as I'd like. And then 17 is kind of a lot, so I don't even know why I'm saying that. But I'd like to have like some sets that aren't comic book based and Steven Spielberg-y based. But so there you go. Check out my second channel and you'll see everything you want to see about those. Someone keeps asking me about Doug Liman. I really like a lot of Doug Liman stuff. He's probably I'd probably say he's pretty underrated. Well, yeah, he's underrated. He's done a number of these movies that I thought were like just real good popcorn type flicks that were very enjoyable. Nerd guy, Jeremy Johns or Chris Stuckman. People ask this question a lot. The answer, I give the cheater answer a little bit. That I view Jeremy Johns as a lot more entertaining, and I think Chris Stuckman gives a lot better analysis, which is on a surface level, yeah. Jeremy Johns is very much trying to be an entertainer, and Chris Stuckman's trying to be more the serious movie critic guy. And so I think both of them serve a different kind of role. One of them's like talking with your buddy, and the other one is kind of like the modern version of what's trying to be the new version of the movie critic. And those are two equally valid things to exist that each serve a purpose. And I watched an enormous number of videos from both of those guys. If I was going to go to an island and all I get is videos from one of them, then I would probably go with Stuckman simply because if my primary purpose for tuning into a movie channel is to get thoughts and deeper analysis of movies, and so you get a little bit more of that from him. But, you know, it's not like I have a strong preference of one over the other. I think they're both very good at the thing that they are doing. All right, I'll just take a couple more questions. Let's see if I can get some... LRC Gaming, can I watch this later on after you end streaming? I hope so. I sure hope so. I'm not going to delete it. I'm not going to pull it down. So, yeah, it should be up. Sometimes YouTube does funky stuff and they disappear. So, but it should be up. My mom would be very disappointed if it wasn't up. Ulysses Ariaga German. I actually don't. I've read your name. You leave comments all the time. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm very sorry about that. But you asked, do I like Cobra Kai? Absolutely. I was a huge fan of Cobra Kai. I'm actually rewatching Cobra Kai right now. Yesterday, I rewatched 2 or 3 episodes. So I really enjoyed it. I didn't like the twist towards the last couple episodes where there's some character turns. And I didn't like that. It felt like, I don't know, it made the audience root things, push for some people, and it was like, gotcha! And I was not crazy about that. All right. Oh, there was a question that I knew I wanted. Okay. Lee Maudlin. Hey man. Actually, I've met him in real life one time over 10 years ago. As a Christian, how do you decide where to draw the line when it comes to entertainment? As a pastor, I struggle with this a lot. I don't know. I go back and forth on it a lot. And I know it's a lot more stringent. When I was on staff at a church, it was a lot more of like, the standard I used was, if people knew I was watching this, would I be embarrassed? And then I would go, if I would be, I probably shouldn't watch it. Or the other one, the one that I kind of use right now is just a little bit. If I think that me watching this is going to cause someone to watch this that I don't think should watch it, then I'd try not to watch it. And that's kind of where I haven't never been terribly big into Game of Thrones because I was like, that like this is very intense. Not just sexual content, but kind of going in weird directions with sexual content. It's not just violent, it's like sadistic violence, a dehumanizing factor, and just really to go into dark places. And so that's where I was like really struggled to watch that one in bulk. But people ask me all the time, so I try to watch it, and every time I'm like, okay. Oh, now they're killing babies. And I go, I don't know how this is edifying at a certain point in time or has value to me at a certain point in time to keep kind of watching it. So, all right, I got a couple super chats coming in, a couple more things coming in, and then I'll close out. I've been saying that for a while, but I really need to. So I'll take these last couple super chats, a couple more out of the chat, and we'll be done. Wiley Todd, do you watch the Schmodown? And my name is Willie the Coyote. Awesome. So thank you so much for the super chats. Do you watch the Schmodown? I used to watch it all the time. For a long time, I watched every single episode, and I just haven't been able to watch it the last 6 months or so because I've been so busy. Just because I do the channel, there's only so much I can watch and so much I can put on. And when I watch that one, I want to play along and guess the questions. It's not like one that I could just kind of put in the background. Like I even had the app. They have an app where you ask the questions. I had the app and everything, but I don't think I've watched one in over 6 months, maybe a year. Not on anything on their part, not because I didn't enjoy the show, but simply because I just don't have the time. To that point, if you go search my channel, Sean Chandler Talks About, for Masters of Movie Trivia, I did my own 4-episode movie trivia show, spring of 2017, 4 episodes, and I competed in 2 of them. And so if you want to see me do movie trivia, Masters of Movie Trivia, there's 4 episodes. I'm in 2 of them. And yeah, it was a ton of fun to do this. I just couldn't keep it up. John Sturcio says, how do you balance work, family, and YouTube? How do you balance it? I just cut almost everything else out. I don't like, if I go to the movies, if I hang out with my friends, it's going to the movies with them. If I, it's all kind of tied together. I invite people over to watch movies at my house. I take notes on my phone when I'm staying at a stoplight or something like that. I'm going to go to a movie tonight, and while I'm sitting there before, I'm going to be writing notes for whatever my next video is. You just kind of look for those moments. I plan ahead. I think, what videos am I going to be doing? And I just know in advance. And so then I don't just watch a lot of movies superfluously. I watch very intentionally for what videos I'm going to be doing in the future. When I have free time that I can spend with my kids, like I spend it with my kids. I make it happen. And so it's trimming a lot of superfluous stuff out, cutting things, and just life is, I'm doing stuff with my kids and wife, or I'm doing movie stuff. It's pretty much that straightforward. And when I have little moments to write notes, I just make it happen. So it's basically just trimming things. All right, I'm going to answer a couple more questions on here. You guys, it's kind of funny to me, like, even just like 10 minutes ago, I talked about, I keep getting asked the same questions, and then, and I keep referencing that I keep getting asked about Game of Thrones, and then I'm getting asked about Game of Thrones again. I don't have an answer about it. All right. Like someone asked, are you ever going to talk about Rick and Morty? I have talked about Rick and Morty. I've never seen it, so I have very little to talk about it, so it just kind of disappears in these live streams. Let me see. Last couple questions. What's my thoughts on Hacksaw Ridge? I have a review of it on my channel. You can look that up. Just search my name, Hacksaw Ridge. It'll come up. Someone asked if I've seen Searching. Yeah, I have a review for it. Am I excited for The Predator? Yeah, I've said all year long it's one of my most favorite, anticipated movies of the year. Cinema Force, can you do a podcast and do a video of top 10 TV shows? Maybe someday I'll do top 10 TV shows, but as for a podcast, not until I have a lot more free time than I have right now. I don't have extra time to do a podcast. Last question of the day. It's a super chat. Maximus Jaximus. If you had to wear the facial hair of any MCU character, whose would you wear? Given kind of the direction that I'm going, I'd have to go with one of them bearded fellows, either the Thor or bearded Captain America, the nomaded version of Steve Rogers. And if you're going to go with a beard, I think you got to go with the Thor. You got to go with the original. So I would go Thor beard. If I got to go with a facial hair, one of these people, Thor beard. But the Chris Evans Nomad beard is all right as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hopefully, a lot of your questions that I haven't answered recently, it's because I answered them at the beginning of this video. So I have touched on them at some point in time. So people even asking my thoughts on Stranger Things and things like that. I've got videos on them and everything like that. So thank you so much. Hopefully, well, I probably won't be back next Wednesday. I'm trying to make this a regular thing, but next Wednesday I will have a new baby, so I will not be back next Wednesday. I highly doubt I'll be next Wednesday doing this when I have a baby. Talk to you guys later. Well, I said that and then I stop streaming button.